Have you ever wondered who is the strongest kaiju in the entire Kaiju Number 8 series? If your first guess is the one named after the series itself, well, by the time we reach the end of this video, you might just change your mind. But before we get started, there are a few things to keep in mind. First off, we'll be ranking a total of 15 kaiju, but we don't have any solid information on kaijus number 3, 5, and 7, so we'll be excluding them. Secondly, we'll also be ranking the users who wield the kaiju-derived weapons. And third, we'll be using a tier system that goes from S+, the absolute strongest, all the way down to D, the weakest. Now with that out of the way, here's a quick rundown of how kaiju work in this world. You see, every kaiju possesses unique abilities through a special organ called the uni-organ. The Defense Force extracts this organ to craft powerful weapons, but no matter how different they are, all kaiju share one common trait, their core. Destroying it is the only way to truly defeat them. And finally, a kaiju's strength is measured by its fortitude level. For example, a kaiju with a fortitude of 6.0 is so powerful that even a captain or vice captain would struggle in a one-on-one battle. Keep that number in mind. It's going to come in handy when we start breaking down their power levels. Now, let's begin with Kaiju Number 1. According to Director General Isao Shinomiya, Kaiju Number 1 was a fearsome kaiju whose attacks were inescapable. Kaiju Number 1's retina allowed it to see through other living things and pinpoint their weak spots, as well as giving it enhanced vision. This gives the user a kind of combative precognition by being able to know in advance what an opponent is about to do. Basically, in simple words, it's like Sharingan. You can predict and see everything. As for its fortitude level, it was over 9. Kaiju Number 1 was defeated long ago, and its powers are now wielded by 1st Division Captain Gen Narumi. Though Kikoru is also compatible with the Number 1 weapon, we'll talk more about her when we get to the kaiju she's most suited for. Also, to let you know, after a kaiju is weaponized, its overall power decreases. The user doesn't get the full might of the kaiju itself, only its core ability and a few extra perks depending on compatibility. Now, Gen Narumi is arguably the strongest active member of the Defense Force, known widely as Japan's strongest anti-kaiju combatant. He's famous for his insane combat skills and for drawing out an incredible 98% of his combat suit's power, something only a handful of fighters have ever achieved. Though he never managed to surpass his mentor Isao Shinomiya, Gen kept evolving. He awakened the RT-0001 weapon to read enemy movements and later pushed it further, upgrading it to the point where he could literally see the future. With that kind of precognition, alongside his strength, speed, and durability, he was able to take on top-tier kaiju like Number 11, who also had a fortitude level above 9. However, this ability comes with its drawbacks. Prolonged use puts immense strain on the user's eyes, even causing them to bleed. And while the precognition is powerful, the weapon isn't particularly strong in terms of raw physical force. So, with all that considered, I'm placing both Kaiju Number 11 and Gen Narumi in the A tier. Well, before we move ahead, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, what are you waiting for? Go on, click it. Next, we have Kaiju Number 2. Number 2's strength is the stuff of legend. It was a high fortitude Dai Kaiju, likely with a fortitude level well above 9, and was considered a monumental threat. The abilities it possessed, later transferred into its numbers weapon, included immense physical strength, earth-shattering sonic waves, and concentrated energy blasts. Its power was so overwhelming that even in weapon form, it could go toe-to-toe with Kaiju Number 8 in his strongest state. That alone speaks volumes about how terrifying the original kaiju must have been. Now, the man who wields this beast's power is none other than Isao Shinomiya, Director General of the Defense Force and widely hailed as the strongest soldier in its history. His fighting style involved channeling all the energy from his lower body into his fists, massively amplifying the impact of his blows. When synchronized with Kaiju Number 2's abilities, he became a one-man army. In fact, Isao fought Kafka while he was in his berserk kaiju form, and according to the persons watching them, it looked like two kaiju with fortitude levels above 8 were clashing head-on. Using Number 2's powers, Isao broke through Kafka's hardened shell, nearly destroying him completely and leaving only his core intact. But that's not all. Kaiju Number 2 was incredibly durable. Even Kafka's punches couldn't break through it. Isao himself admitted, without Number 2's shield, I would have been a goner by now. And let's not forget Number 2's signature move, its sonic boom attack. When Isao and Kafka's punches collided, the resulting shockwave obliterated a shelter designed to withstand fortitude level 10 Ten Kaiju. And here's the kicker, Isao wasn't even at full release at the time. But during his fight with Kaiju Number 9, Isao completely overwhelmed Number 9, who outright admitted even my powered-up body couldn't properly withstand that attack. So for Isao and Number 2, both deserve S rank. Next up, Kaiju Number 4. We don't know much about Kaiju Number 4, but here's what we do know. It was incredibly fast and had top-tier aerial capabilities. Resembling a massive winged centipede, Number 4 terrorized Japan with its ability to fly at supersonic speeds, using devastating hit-and-run attacks from above. Eventually, this kaiju was defeated and turned into a numbers weapon. Now let's talk about its users. The weapon created from Kaiju Number 4 was first used by Kikoru Shinomiya's mother, and now it's wielded by Kikoru herself. And Kikoru? She's a special case. Born to two legendary high-ranking Defense Force officers, Kikoru was a prodigy from the start. What makes her even more impressive is her rare compatibility with multiple numbers weapons. She's shown to sync with weapons Number 4, 1, 2, and 7. After receiving Number 4 from Captain Gen Narumi, Kikoru's already insane physical prowess evolved even further. She became fast enough to fly across long distances at extreme speeds, and powerful enough to spar with Gen himself, even when he was equipped with a numbers weapon, and take down kaiju with a fortitude level of 7 like it was nothing. But that's not all. In the recent manga chapters, Kikoru pulled off one of the most clutch feats in the entire series. She used Kaiju Number One's core tracking ability to locate the true core of the fully unleashed Kaiju Number 9. And let's be clear, this wasn't some one-and-done core. Number 9 had multiple cores harvested from various kaiju, and pinpointing the real one required insane precision and focus. Despite the odds, Kikoru found the real core and helped Mina and Kafka to finish Number 9. So, for the ranking, Kaiju Number 4 goes in C tier, but Kikoru S tier. Next, we have King of the Kaijus, Kaiju Number 6. Before the events of the main story, Kaiju Number 6 unleashed one of the most devastating attacks in history, wiping out nearly 200 Defense Force members, including 3 captains, one of whom was Hikari Shinomiya, Kikoru's mother. With a jaw-dropping fortitude level of 9.6, the second highest ever recorded for a pure kaiju, its destructive power was absolute. Its primary ability, cryokinesis. Number 6 could manipulate ice on a massive scale, turning entire regions into frozen wastelands. Wherever it went, it brought along blizzards and bone-shattering cold, earning a reputation as the literal symbol of despair. Humanity did manage to defeat it, but at a devastating cost. And even in death, its power was so immense that no one could synchronize with the weapon it left behind for a long time. Well, that changed with Rino Ichikawa. You see, Rino became the only person compatible with Number 6's weapon, and once he synchronized with it, his power skyrocketed. The weapon takes the form of a specialized combat suit, granting Rino the same terrifying cryokinetic abilities as Kaiju Number 6 itself. He can freeze enemies with a touch, summon massive walls of ice, and even neutralize entire swarms of kaiju with fortitude levels as high as 8, instantly shifting the tide of battle. His endurance is also off the charts. With this suit, Rino has continued to fight even through fractured bones and torn muscles, pushing his body beyond human limits. But all that power comes at a price. The biggest drawback? The toll on Rino's body. Using Number 6's power is so physically extreme that it risks tearing him apart from the inside. In his very first major battle with the suit, raising his synchronization from just 43% to 51% caused massive internal muscle damage. It's a weapon of destruction, but it's just as dangerous to the one who wields it. So, with all that considered, Kaiju Number 6 is going straight to S tier, and Rino Ichikawa earns a solid A tier. Next up, the one named after the series itself, Kaiju Number 8. Okay, before we start explaining Kafka's powers, let's first answer the most important question. Who was that mysterious parasite in episode 1? Because technically, he is the original Kaiju Number 8. You see, Kaiju Number 8 was born when Kafka Hibino unknowingly swallowed a strange parasitic larva. But this wasn't just any creature. It was the result of 400 years worth of hatred, regret, and rage from fallen samurai who died fighting the Daikaiju during the Meireki era. These lingering emotions fused into a sentient kaiju organism, and that larva found its host in Kafka, granting him the power to transform into a humanoid kaiju. Essentially, he became a living weapon of vengeance, created specifically to battle other kaiju. At his initial awakening, Kafka's fortitude fortitude level was 9.8, making him one of the most powerful kaiju in recorded history. His raw strength alone is terrifying, but his versatility is what makes him so dangerous. In kaiju form, Kafka can atomize lesser kaiju with a single punch, move at hypersonic speeds, and casually dodge high-velocity attacks. His physical power is so great that his clashes with other powerful beings can shatter military-grade bunkers designed to withstand immense force. Not only that, his body is incredibly tough, capable of withstanding attacks that would vaporize other monsters, and if he does get hurt, he regenerates instantly. Later in the story, after uncovering the truth behind the 400-year-old curse and choosing to bear the hatred of the fallen samurai, Kafka's heart transforms into a kaiju core, and his body starts channeling the spiritual energy of those ancient warriors. That's when he unlocks his final form. In this state, Kafka can tank massive Meireki-era attacks without a scratch. His strength, speed, and durability escalate up to near planetary levels. The way he told Kaiju Number 9 right before punching him in the face, "Let's move to that tower," and then hit him so hard that Number 9 flew miles away? Yeah, I know, that felt like a Bleach reference. But the fact that Kafka could withstand Number 9's punches and even send him flying while no one else in the defense force could even scratch him tells you exactly how broken Kaiju Number 8 really is. And now, in the manga, Kafka has finally defeated Number 9 as well. So I guess that's pretty much it. For Kaiju Number 8, we'll obviously be ranking him S+. Next up, the bacteria, Kaiju Number 9. Kaiju Number 9 is, without a doubt, the second strongest kaiju we've seen so far in the series. When it first appeared, it already had a fortitude level of 8.5, and despite being new on the scene, it nearly killed 2 elite defense force members and later managed to withstand Kaiju Number 8's heavy blows before escaping. According to Isao Shinomiya, Number 9 operates much like a virus, constantly evolving, adapting, and infecting others. Even Keiji Itami, one of the top officials, marked it as a major threat to the entire defense force. One of Number 9's most terrifying abilities is its power to fuse with other kaiju, evolving into deadlier forms. This includes simple yoju monsters like the ant types, and even powerful dai kaiju like Kaiju Number 2, despite the fact that Number 2 had already been turned into a weapon. Over time, it was revealed that Kaiju Number 9 is actually an amalgamation of countless kaiju and humans, all consumed and fused together, giving it access to their powers and memories. If that wasn't enough, Number 9 can also create duplicates of itself, and these clones are nearly as powerful as the original. After fusing with Isao's Kaiju Number 2, Number 9 reached an entirely new level. He defeated Kafka, came close to annihilating the entire defense force, and stood as the single greatest threat the world had faced in centuries. And in recent chapters, the truth hit even harder. Number 9 is actually the Meireki Mega Monster, a legendary kaiju from 400 years ago. He was the root cause of the massive kaiju outbreak across Japan. That's right, the entire modern kaiju crisis started with him. To put his power into perspective, it took Kikoru, Mina, Kafka in his final form, and the combined might of the entire defense force fighting simultaneously just to take him down. That's how strong this monster was. So without question, Kaiju Number 9 is an S+ tier threat, right alongside Number 8. Next, we have Kaiju Number 10. This kaiju was a powerful humanoid prototype created by Kaiju Number 9, engineered specifically as a test subject. It was unleashed on the Defense Force's Tachikawa base to evaluate its combat capabilities. During this assault, Number 10 engaged in a brutal battle with the 3rd Division's Vice Captain, Soshiro Hoshino. The fight was nothing short of intense. Despite his incredible swordsmanship, found himself pushed to the edge. He even described Number 10's punches as meteors, and that a single direct hit would be catastrophic for him. Despite Hoshino's incredible skill, Number 10's raw power, speed, and surprisingly durable core proved to be too overwhelming. Beyond brute force, Kaiju Number 10 also possessed a terrifying skill set. It could command lesser kaiju, alter its size, and its reflexes were sharp enough to dodge multiple sword strikes effortlessly. In its final towering form, it nearly killed Hoshina until Captain Mina arrived and ended the threat with a single devastating shot. But even in defeat, Number 10's story didn't end there. In a shocking twist, its consciousness remained alive inside its severed head. It made a never-before-seen request to be turned into a numbers weapon specifically for Hoshina. In exchange, it offered vital intelligence intelligence on Kaiju Number 9. The result was Number's Weapon 10, a sentient battle suit equipped with a massive, powerful tail capable of communicating directly with Hoshina. This unlikely partnership between a stoic, precise swordsman and a brash, battle-hungry kaiju turned out to be incredibly effective. Together, they went on to defeat Kaiju Number 12, a perfected version of Number 10 created by Kaiju Number 9, whose sole mission was to eliminate Hoshina. And even more impressively, Hoshina later fought Kaiju Number 9 himself. Though he was ultimately defeated, the very fact he managed to hold his ground for even a few minutes against a monster of that caliber is an accomplishment in itself. So here, I'll give Number 10 B rank, and Hoshina with Number 10 weapon A rank. Next up, Kaiju Number 11. This monster was yet another twisted creation of Kaiju Number 9, specifically engineered for one purpose: to kill the strongest soldier in the defense force, Gen Narumi. Visually, Kaiju Number 11 was nothing short of bizarre, a massive, whale-like creature with legs and gills across its torso. But don't let the strange appearance fool you. This kaiju was immensely powerful and dangerously overconfident in its abilities. With a fortitude level of 9.0, Kaiju Number 11 possessed a unique and deadly ability: hydrokinesis, the power to manipulate water. It could draw moisture from the ocean or even underground sources to unleash flash floods or fire high-velocity water bullets. And this wasn't a random ability. It was carefully selected to counter Narumi's greatest strength, his foresight. You see, Narumi's number weapon, derived from Kaiju Number 1, lets him predict enemy movements by reading their bioelectric signals. But water, fluid, formless, and constantly shifting, has no fixed pattern, making it nearly impossible to predict. In other words, Kaiju Number 11 was built to be the perfect counter to Narumi. And it didn't stop there. Number 11 also possessed tremendous physical power. During their fight, it landed a punch on Narumi that sent him flying a considerable distance. Ultimately, Narumi was able to evolve his foresight during the battle, overcome his disadvantage, and successfully defeat Kaiju Number 11. So for this kaiju, I'll be giving him A rank as well. Next up, Kaiju Number 12. Now this kaiju was the perfected version of Kaiju Number 10. While Number 10 served as a prototype, Number 12 was the final product, engineered with a single goal in mind: to eliminate Soshiro Hoshina, the vice captain of the Defense Force's 3rd Division. Unlike the brash and hot-headed Number 10, Kaiju Number 12 was calm, calculating, and analytical, a cold, tactical killer designed to outthink and outmatch its prey. In terms of raw power, Number 12 far surpassed its predecessor. With a formidable fortitude level of 9.0, it showcased its strength by shattering the ground with a single strike. But what made it truly terrifying was its ability to learn and adapt to enemy techniques at incredible speed. During its intense clash with Hoshina, Number 12 pushed the Master Swordsman to his absolute limit. It cornered him so effectively that Hoshina had to abandon his iconic dual blade style, forced to develop new tactics just to stay alive. Even then, he could only manage to sever one of its arms. And then came the twist. After observing Hoshina's new fighting style just a few times, Kaiju Number 12 perfectly mimicked it, adapting on the fly and using his own single-bladed technique against him. The sheer adaptability was unlike anything Hoshina had ever faced. As the battle reached its climax, Hoshina, in perfect sync with his sentient Number's Weapon 10, unleashed the weapon's full power. But even then, Kaiju Number 12 effortlessly blocked their final attack. Victory only came through a stroke of tactical brilliance. The tail of Weapon Number 10, which had been severed earlier, was still under Hoshina's control. In a surprise move, the sentient tail struck Number 12's core from behind, finally bringing down the perfected warrior. In the aftermath, having fought a kaiju created specifically to surpass him, Hoshina offered a gesture of respect, silently acknowledging the incredible challenge Number 12 had presented. So for him, I'll be ranking this kaiju on S tier. Next, we have Kaiju Number 13. Again, this kaiju was yet another part of the large-scale coordinated assault launched on the Defense Force. But unlike others, this one had a very simple obsession: running, running, and more running. That's pretty much all it did, but it did it with terrifying effectiveness. During the invasion, it clashed with members of the prestigious 1st Division, and it completely overpowered them. The battle left behind serious destruction, and the 1st Division got a real taste of despair. Rin Shinonome, the platoon leader, was so shaken by its strength that she declared its offensive abilities were off the charts, and even called it one of the strongest kaiju the Defense Force had ever faced. With a fortitude level of 9.2, it technically surpassed even Kaiju Number 6, the former king of kaiju. But here's the twist. Despite all all that hype and destructive power, Kafka obliterated it with a single punch. No struggle, no epic clash, just boom, over. So yeah, for a kaiju that didn't even last one hit against number 8, I don't care what its fortitude level says, it's going in the C tier. Next, we have Kaiju Number 14. This kaiju was deployed with a very specific mission: to eliminate Mina Ashiro, the captain of the Defense Force's 3rd Division. Its entire design was meant to be the perfect counter to Mina's long-range combat style. It had 2 main abilities. First, teleportation, which made it an absolute nightmare for a sniper like Mina, who depends on keeping her enemies at a distance. And second, it could fire a powerful energy beam from its mouth, capable of causing massive destruction in a single blast. On paper, it was a serious threat. It had a fortitude level of 9, putting it among the elite tier kaiju. But then came the actual fight, and it was over in a flash. Mina, in classic badass fashion, one-shot Kaiju Number 14 with a single blast from her cannon. I mean, how exactly does this thing have a fortitude level of 9? If anyone figures it out, please drop it in the comments, because I'm confused too. For this one, regardless of the numbers, D tier. And finally, we have our last kaiju, Kaiju Number 15. Well, this kaiju was yet another twisted creation from Kaiju Number 9, and it came with one clear mission: to kill Kikoru Shinomiya. But this time, the approach was far more personal and cruel. Kaiju Number 15 was uniquely engineered using the memories of Kikoru's late father, Director General Isao Shinomiya. The result? A monster that wasn't just physically powerful, it was a mirror image of Kikoru herself, a dark reflection down to her fighting style and stature. The only real visual difference was her jet black hair contrasting Kikoru's blonde. This wasn't just a fight, it was Kikoru battling her own insecurities, her trauma, and yeah, her daddy issues quite literally. With a fortitude level of 9.0, Kaiju Number 15 ranks among the strongest kaiju in the series. It demonstrated overwhelming strength, one-shotting multiple Defense Force members without breaking a sweat. The battle between Number 15 and Kikoru was intense, as it kept up with her speed and even dodged her fastest attacks, pushing the prodigy to her absolute limits. But the real danger wasn't just physical. Kaiju Number 15 had a terrifying psychological weapon. It could connect directly to the minds of its opponents, forcing them to relive their most painful memories. It used this to try and break Kikoru mentally, drowning her in grief and regret in a ruthless attempt to shatter her will to fight. And for a moment, it almost worked. But at the breaking point, Kikoru found strength, not in herself, but by thinking of Kafka Hibino. That bond gave her the clarity to push through the mental assault. With her resolve reignited, she delivered a decisive final blow, defeating Kaiju Number 15 once and for all. So, keeping everything in mind, I think A rank will be fair here. Click on this video next, where we ranked anime's strongest form by who they can defeat. Go on, check it out.